Well, hi everyone, it's Casey Truffo from Be a Wealthy Therapist.
And Joe Bevanese from Uncommon Practices.
And we're really excited to be talking to you today. Now, if you've been watching our free learning series, you know that adding clinicians to your practice is an amazing way to both increase your impact in the community, serve more people, and increase your bottom line.
And if you've been watching the videos that Casey's produced and been showing recently, I'm sure you're someone who's really ready to take that next step, like I did about 13 years ago, in adding associates and increasing your income substantially.
Joe, can you tell us what's possible?
Well, sure. What I found in my group practice, where I've added associates to my practice, Casey, I'm now bringing in over $100,000 a month in revenue from our gross revenue. And of course, that didn't happen right away. But as I've learned so many things over the years I've been doing this, it gets a lot faster and a lot more efficient.
To me, this is amazing. When I talked to Joe and heard about his success, and over the last year, I've had the opportunity to coach individuals around the country who are adding up to 20, 25 clinicians in their practice. When I saw what was possible, both from the financial impact as well as the number of people that they could serve in their community, I actually came out of retirement and opened up a counseling center here in California. And because we're both so passionate about this model, we're teaming up together to invite you to a new program we're doing.
Right. You know, I'm glad you mentioned that about the service part of it, Casey, because one of the things I'm most happy about my practice is that instead of serving, 25 or 30 clients a week, I'm now helping over 900 people every month. And it just feels like your vision of the way you work and the healing practices that you do can spread exponentially to helping many more people in your community.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And Joe, how long did it take you to learn how to do all this?
Well, I started in 1999, and I made so many mistakes, but I had a full practice, and I realized it wasn't quite bringing enough money to support my family and the lifestyle that I wanted. And so I just made a lot of trial and error mistakes and learning. But it really wasn't until about 2004 or 5 that I really started to figure it out. And since that time, I've been coaching other clinicians in how to do it much more efficiently, much more effectively, and avoid all the very expensive time and money mistakes that I made.
And that's why we've teamed up together. Joe has a lot of history in doing this, and I'm doing it right now, so I'm learning the mistakes of what you should and should not do as we go through it right now. And that's why we're so excited to invite you to our new training program, How to Generate Hundreds to Thousands of Dollars of Passive Income each month by adding clinicians to your practice. Now, in just a minute, we want to share with you what's going to be taught in that class, because we want you to get this information easily, quickly, and get started and avoid some costly mistakes that we went through.
This is something that can add thousands of dollars a month to your revenue and really help you create the lifestyle that you prefer. One of the things, Casey, that I learned is that when you think about a full practice, we're still trading in 1 hour of our time for 1 unit of money. And the fantastic thing about this model is you're suddenly multiplying your income per unit of time exponentially, and it really helps you create a much more rewarding and fulfilling lifestyle. Casey, let's talk a little bit about who this program is really ideally designed for. This is really a great program if one of two things. Either you have a full practice and you're still generating more referrals than you can really handle, and you might as well bring in some income. You've worked really hard to get to the point that you're getting so many referrals. Or people that maybe don't have a full practice, but they have a desire to have a lifestyle which brings in more income without them having to actually fill up 30 or 40 hours a week of doing therapy. So that would really be sort of the ideal person for this kind of program. Now, who is it not designed for? It's really equally important. It's not designed for someone who's looking for a get-rich-quick scheme. Mm-hmm. This requires a lot of hard work in the beginning. We don't want to minimize that. This is not something that you just start and 2 days later, you're making $5,000 a month from other people. It's a step-by-step process we're going to show you, but it requires a lot of hard work. It requires learning some new skills. It requires growing and stretching beyond your clinical role into some other roles, and we're going to teach you exactly how to do that if you're someone who's really right for that program.
I think that's a really great point, because I've been very against the word passive revenue because
Right.
there's a lot of work involved when you're first getting
Right,
started.
right.
But yet, over time, you tell me now you only spend about 15 minutes a week?
Yeah, right. I spend
Think
about
about
15
that.
minutes
15
a week.
minutes a week.
And my 24 associates in my practice generate over $30,000 a month after I pay them. So that's been my experience now.
That's fantastic. So this course that we're putting together is going to be, as Joe just said, a step-by-step implementation plan for you. So how are we going to deliver this course for you? Well, we're going to have 6 content modules. They're going to be everything from setting you up for success, where we're going to talk about the inner game of success and how to make sure that we don't accidentally stop ourselves.
Exactly. Then we'll talk about hiring associates. What are the best practices? Where do you find people? How do you evaluate whether they would be good for your practice? How do you evaluate their performance? All things about hiring associates.
And then we're going to look at measuring. We're going to look at how do you measure your income? How do you measure how well your employees are doing? Or your contractors, we're going to measure how well you are following the values that you want for your center. So we're going to look at the numbers, and we're going to do that with an easy formula so that you won't get that math anxiety.
Right. Then we're going to talk about creating systems. The reason I'm able to only spend 15 minutes a week in managing over 20 therapists is that I've created a number of very clear, duplicatable systems so that all I have to do is make sure my systems are running effectively and I'm right on top of what's going on with all of my clinicians and my office staff, etc. So you really want to have some very good systems in place to make your practice run smoothly and to save you a lot of grief and time.
And we know that if your phone is ringing right now, that you're doing something right. But we want to help you amplify those results. So we're going to put our combined probably 40 years worth of experience here together and talk to you about marketing online and in the community. Best practices, what's the most cost effective. We'll talk about your marketing budget. How much should you put aside for marketing?
Great. And then we'll talk about how to manage your time and be the most productive. That's something Casey and I have talked a lot about together, about how do we take a busy life that you already have, add some more tasks and more things into it, and still end up being productive and not driving yourself crazy. We want to have personal balance in our lives. It's something very important to both Casey and I. We have personal lives that are rich and fulfilling with plenty of recreation and relationships, as well as run our businesses.
And I know some of you out there already have associates, and so you're probably wondering, what are the best practices for all of this, for systems, for getting new associates, and when do we know it's time to hire someone new? And we're going to have Joe talk to us about that, because that's one of the most common questions that we get. So that's our content for this. It's going to come with checklists and implementation plans, but that's not all. This is very exciting. We were just going to have those 6 calls.
Yeah,
that was our
right.
first plan.
Right.
And we decided, well, let's add one more Q&A call with us.
Yeah.
And we got to thinking about it, and we said, but we know you probably have a lot of questions. So each week, we're not only going to have a content teaching call, we're actually going to have a whole hour where you can get on and just ask us questions.
Right.
We're very excited about that.
Right. And because I found in my practice that online marketing was such a big fuel for my growth, we're going to have some special options for you getting support and the latest up-to-date information on best practices for internet marketing for a private practice.
Yeah, this is really incredible. This is a special bonus Joe is providing. I'm very excited about that. And we're going to have our attorney, Steve Frankel, available for a Q&A call where you can ask your legal questions if there's anything you're worrying about is this fee splitting or what is my liability? We can ask the attorney. And we have some great payment plans available to you. So please join us. I'm just so excited about this.
It's going to be really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're making it very affordable for you. So cost is not going to be a problem. This is something.
So if you're someone who is feeling a little full in their practice and the phone is still ringing, we want to offer this to you to help you stretch your entrepreneurial muscles, to help you serve more people in your community, and increase your income all at the same time. I think that's win-win-win. What do you think?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And we're going to be here to support you, guide you, and be there with you right along the way.
Right. And, we've been coaching people for years. We have heard virtually every question you could possibly have on how to do this. And we have just a treasure chest of experience and wisdom that we've learned from so many clinicians all over the country that we're ready to share with you now.
I don't think there's another course like this.
No, absolutely
and
not.
We don't know when we're going to do it again.
Right, right.
So please join us. Just scroll down and you can read more, and then click on that button and join us today and get your seat.
Great. Thank you.
We love you.
All right.